Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm sure we'll have some more jump on. There's always someone that come on later. I just have a few announcements really quick, and then we're going to get to our guest speaker, who I'm so excited to have tonight. But I just wanted to remind everybody, when you bring a new team member in, don't forget to do that blast to at least 4 or 5 of your upline welcoming that new team member. And then also check with your Pro 5 and above. And Christy Spaniel welcomed a new team member today, and I told her right away I would love to do Zoom to speak to her and just hear her dreams and goals. And I think it's always good for that new team member to hear from someone else on the team as well, just that extra third-party validation even once they've come onto the team, to help direct them and let them know what's available to them, and that you are a real person and are there to help them along as well. So keep that in mind. LifeVantage Academy is this weekend. Please make sure you register ahead of time to get the $25 price instead of $35. Also, do not forget that this month, there's only 2 more auto shipments that go out. The Vitality Stack is the same price as the Essentials Pack, and they're going to get it free shipping and get to try the Omega for free. And that's the verbiage that I would use. I know you're getting the Essentials Pack. Let's get you with the Vitality Stack this month, and you can try our Omega for free. And make sure they are aware that the Vitality Stack is now the new package that will have free shipping, and the Essentials Pack will no longer have that. And then lastly, we talked about on a leadership call today, this is just real quick, people feeling overwhelmed by all the messaging that you can get, whether it's through WhatsApp or regular text or Facebook alerts, things like that. And I just want to say to you guys, if you have something that comes across, whether it's from me or Michelle or whomever, more than likely, most of the time, probably 99.9% of the time, it's not something you need to respond to right away. And I just don't want anyone having those sense of feeling overwhelmed when you're doing this business, because I don't want this business to feel like a have to for you. I want it to feel like a get to for you. And so just be very intentional. Make it one of your new goals for the year that you are going to write everything down, so that while you're doing your tasks, you are as present as possible in those moments, whether it's making dinner for your family or inviting to a call or taking 15 minutes to then respond to the WhatsApps, or taking 15 minutes to then get on Facebook and see what's happened or what's going on. Be very intentional with that, because the minute you put in your calendar what you want to do, but you've got, let's say I put in my calendar where I start my day with my scripture reading, but my phone is by me and I keep looking at my phone, and then it takes me away from my scripture reading, and then I get all flustered and I don't get done what I intended to get done. So whatever you're focused on, if that means having your phone put away, put it away. I love taking my dog for a walk and not bringing my phone with me. I love those moments of no phone and no technology, to just be still, take it in, and think of other things. So I just am giving you permission to let go of that sense of overwhelming, even if it means letting go of the Facebook notifications on your phone and turning those off. I don't have those because they were freaking me out. I turned those off, and I go to Facebook when I intentionally am going to go to Facebook, whether it's to look at messages, post something, or make some new connections. So just a piece of advice, because it was a hot topic this morning. Now we are going to get to the special guest we have tonight. This is a person that I have watched for a very long time, and I really, really am so inspired by you, Amy. The way you live your life, the way you keep your hustle holy, the relationship that it looks like you and Grant have. I know I don't know a ton of your story. I kind of wanted it to be fresh and new for me tonight along with the team. I just look so forward to hearing more of your story, how you were introduced to LifeVantage, what it's been like for you, and what it's like today, and how you balance it as well, being a young couple with younger children and doing this business together. So guys, we have Amy Dippold tonight. They are brand new Pro 5s with LifeVantage, and welcome to the call. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for that intro. Yeah, so I guess our story, and Grant wanted to be on tonight, but like I said, he was doing a home meeting, and then from there he had to get on the road for his other job and travel 2 hours, where he's going to be there for the next 3 or 4 days. I'm not sure yet. So it's going to be kind of hit and miss. I think Nick it was that said, usually you get 2 months off around holiday or something. I don't know, a bunch of time off. That's kind of how Grant had it over the holidays. And now he has to face reality and instead be gone for like the next 3 months. So it's going to be a tough and challenging couple of months ahead. But so we got introduced a little over 3 years ago. Grant's mother had brought the information to us. She has an incredible testimony with damage to her Achilles tendons, and we had watched her go through a couple years of just horrible pain, boots, even surgeries, and even like getting to the point of depression and just what is her future going to look like kind of thing. And so we had watched her go through that, and she had said no to Protandim for a long time. And when she finally took it and had incredible results within 6 months, being almost completely pain-free, we noticed this, but we didn't really think. We're like, what's going on? You know, we just, wow, she's being healed. This is awesome. And then she sat us all down, all the kids, and she said, you guys have to see this. Like, you just have to. And she brought her upline down to Des Moines and introduced it to all of us. And obviously, like when it's coming from a family member, usually you just kind of brush it off. You're like, yeah, okay, that's cool, thanks. But I mean, we couldn't deny the results that we had seen. And my background is in psychology. And I'm kind of a big like research nerd in regards to understanding valid research, peer-reviewed research, being able to understand what it takes to do that and conduct it. And so that intrigued me a lot, the research part of it. And being an absolute like network marketing, really bad taste in my mouth, like had a horrible taste in my mouth because I had seen my parents all of my life be in different network marketing companies in Podunk, Minnesota, and none of it panning out. Like random stuff would be showing up to our house and I'd be like, what is this? So I think the only good experience I had was actually with Melaleuca, and our household had a lot of Melaleuca products in it. But I never really understood or saw them make any more than just enough to pay for the product. So I guess I just was like, okay, it's a network marketing company, but the research is there. So I got very intrigued with that. And we were customers for a year because mama said so kind of thing. And it didn't really change for us until we went to kind of drug our feet, but finally went to an LVA with my mother-in-law. And we listened to Dr. Mark Gordon speak. And we listened to Sean Poe, and we just kind of like, holy smokes, like this is really cool. And I had my light bulb moment there. Like we had been customers for a year, kind of, talking to people like, hey, there's this really cool product. You got to check it out, but I don't want anything to do with it. And referring it, like I always say, like a hot pizza or something great. Like lately I've been referring The Greatest Showman, and I don't know, like I was referring it to people anyway. So after this meeting, I look over to Grant and I was like, oh, Grant, like this is much bigger than I thought. And I said, babe, you're going to be taking this for life, because his biological dad had died from a massive heart attack when Grant was just a baby. And that's always really, really affected him. He kind of thought maybe I'll have the same fate, that's genetic. And he was already with high cholesterol and different things like that. So we committed right then and there, but I was just like, oh, this is huge. Like, I want to do this. And so it was just a couple days later that I signed up with the Platinum Pack, and honestly had no idea what I was doing. And this was 2 years ago in April. So signed up, just kind of got myself plugged in, and really, like Tanya said, they plugged me into my upline right away. And I was there in Sioux Falls, so I got to meet a lot of them in person up front anyway. And Mary had continued to drip on me for this entire year. So I knew a little bit, but really just started getting plugged in and just sharing the way that I was told to share, utilizing those 3 ways. And it was very slow at first because Grant was absolutely still against network marketing, like, not doing it. And he became kind of that, like, I'm very business minded. I need to do the business research. And I almost kind of had to prove it to him over time. Like, It actually wasn't until after Denver Elite this year. So I don't know what month that was. I came back from Denver Elite, and Grant had gone to Anaheim after we signed up. I went to Florida. We just started going to these events, right? And then it was Denver Elite that things kind of really changed for us. And I came home and it's like we locked arms and we started doing this together, and it just took off. It's just crazy. I know that doesn't happen for everybody, but I had been maintaining a lot of relationships over the past year anyway. And it was like that Elite things just clicked for me, and we started like closing, and people started getting excited, and we started that momentum phase in our own business. And very quickly after that hit Pro 5. Like I had been stuck at Pro 3 for a long time. And so that's kind of, I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling, but
no. We always feel that way when we're telling our own story. I totally get it.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was just you. Did you try to, do you feel like you were trying to force Grant to come on board with you, or did you just kind of love him where he was at and he made the decision when it was right for him?
You know, it's crazy. We signed up with his name because all along, I was like, you're the businessman. Like, you're going to rock this out. Like, you just have that personality. And he absolutely didn't. That's why he went to Anaheim right away when we signed up. And he came back, and honestly, he just kind of shut down. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I don't even know. Like, and here, so I just quietly just kept doing the work. I mean, he kind of told me, he's like, don't talk to this group of people, and don't talk to our neighbors. Like, he was very like scared to talk. And I wonder if he hops on while he's driving. No, like he knows this, and we talk about it openly, but we had our own hurdles that we had to get through. And so, yeah, I mean, it's very hard. And I've seen a lot of people who don't have supportive spouses. And I think Grant it wasn't that he wasn't supportive, because he was still doing like the business behind the scenes kind of stuff. Like, I could go to him and ask these questions. Like, I didn't really understand compensation plan for the first 9 months. Like, I didn't know anything about it. I just knew I was passionate. This was helping people. And I kept telling people about it. So I think it was more of like a quiet support, but absolutely not on the front lines. And I just had to be okay with that. So
yeah.
I was, so I guess a little bit more, I was continuing to work in behavioral health intervention services. So I worked with children and families in their homes for long periods of time. And a lot of that work is evening work, because they have to be home from school, home from sports. And it was very, very exhausting time for me. And I wanted a way out of that, because I felt like I was giving 100% to my clients and the, those families, and just pouring myself into them, and then giving the leftovers to my family. And that was a pretty hard time. And I just saw like, hey, as you go to these events, you start to see that this is real. Like, people can replace income doing this. And I'm already absolutely passionate, absolutely on board. Like, people need this just as much as behavioral health. They need like this kind of health and wellness. So that was something that kind of fueled me along as it was slowly taking place. And I think I had a slow learning curve as well, but just to see that and to have it become reality. Just this last July, I ended my last case and no longer do any other work other than home with my kids and LifeVantage. So that's been kind of exciting.
That's amazing. So that goal and that drive and passion and desire and why of being home with your family and then not getting the second best is what kept you going those 2 years when it was just you doing it.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, the vision was always there. And being at those events is huge. And I am pushing that so hard on our growing team, like right away. The soonest they can get to an event, I think that's absolutely so important.
And what does Grant do?
So Grant is a project consultant for a Big Four accounting firm. And so he's not an accountant per se, but he does, he manages their projects, I guess. So.
Gotcha. What was it that he heard at Denver Elite Academy that made the shift for him to want to do this full time with you or get on board with you?
Right. So that's kind of an interesting, he did not go to Denver. I did. He just started watching me
Oh,
kind of, yeah, he just watched me kind of blossom into a whole new level. And I feel like, no was no longer an issue for me. I adamantly sought out no's instead of being scared to get them. And he just saw me like making like some serious headway when we got home. And there was a day like, oh, and actually before I came home from Denver, I texted him a screenshot of signing us both up for Orlando. And I said, sorry, babe, you're coming with me whether you like it or not to the next elite, because we had not been able to go together. So I just kind of made that decision. I was like, I hope you're not mad, but this is what it is. You're coming. We're going to do this. And he didn't say anything. And then like a week after I got home, he called me from work and he's like, well, I had another one of those annual reviews. It was so good, but I keep hitting the top. He keeps hitting that glass ceiling in corporate America. And he's like, I've got to find the next step, the next opportunity by next year, May is kind of what, like this year, May. And this was back right after Denver Elite. And I was like, we're on the phone, he's at work. And I'm like, okay, well, this is it. We found that opportunity. I said, let's give this a run. Be all in with me. Let's just do this because this is an opportunity that this is what you're looking for. And that was kind of a turning point. And that's when we locked arms. And after that conversation just started going.
I love that too, because we hear that a lot. Like it's easy. I think for a long time for me too with Kyle, I would keep telling him, you'd be so great at this. You should do this with me. I could see you being up in front of the room. Like you believe in them and want it so badly for them. But it can cause friction and conflict in a marriage and in a partnership when we're forcing them to do something they're not prepared for. But what you said, Amy, too, is you just silently kept working. You just silently kept doing it. And then to still go to all the events and plug in. And then for him to see, he was seeing the checks, I'm sure, and then to see your transformation. And I love what you said. You sought out the no's instead of being scared to get them. That is, I mean, that right there, guys, is a huge mind shift, right? Seeking out the no's and being, instead of being scared to get them. But I love that he made that decision based on what he saw in you and that transformation you had. That's so awesome. How do you guys, as a couple, you know, him still having that full-time job and young children, how do you balance the business?
Well, that's been kind of our next growing pain, I'd say, is since we hit Pro 5 in, was it November? Or so.
I think it's around then. It's new, I know that.
Yeah, I think we're on month 3 of maintaining it is where we're at. So ever since then, wow, like there was so much growth that's been taking place. That's been a really interesting shift in dynamic in like really reminding ourselves that, okay, we want to train people the correct way and we're trying to find our method and the right way to do that without getting into management mode while still recruiting, while still like balancing our life. And there's been some intense moments, I'd say, like where we're like, whew, okay, like we got to put ourselves first here. And so it is tough, but at the same time, and like I'd say that's kind of a topic that we're still working through because we're trying to figure out like, hey, he has strengths here, I have strengths there, and just trying to really try to complement each other instead of stepping on each other along the way and just respecting each other where we're at. Like he has these great ideas and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not quite there yet, but like you can go ahead and I'm going to support you and I'm just going to continue to do what I know I can do. And kind of that, I don't know, it's hard, but it's definitely, you have to know, like I said, just complimenting each other and just really trusting each other and I don't know, giving each other that grace along the way. But like I said, tonight I was like, when there's a home meeting, like I want to be at those home meetings. I want to meet new people. Like that's like my like love language, like connecting with people and relationships and stuff. So that was hard for me tonight, but I'm like, you know what? The kids need me. I'm going to stay back. He was presenting on the business portion. I was just there to like help with the relationship aspect of things. So I ended up not going. And it's just those decisions you have to make. And like you said at the beginning of this, and that's something like Tanya, I remember, I don't even know when it was. I mean, probably 6 months ago already, when you said I was going to be intentional about your phone time. And I think that's something huge, you guys, that like you can just get into like unintentional time where you're like, I'm doing business, but you're not really. And like, that's another thing that huge.
Oh no.
Sorry, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Nope.
Grant was calling me.
We got you.
That that was a huge thing though that changed, was recognizing like structured intentional business time, like knowing when that is and kind of sticking to it. And I think that that's another thing too, when you hit a momentum in your business and hit like the Pro 5 rank or whatever, to keep that, because you can so quickly get pulled into so many different directions and not even like, and completely lose your focus. And so I don't know, intentionality, it's a big one.
Yeah, it truly is. And I think we become more duplicatable and we make this business more attractive for those new people coming in if we can show them that this business can be done very intentionally. Like, just because there's a call or a Zoom taking place every day of the week, there's recordings and there's times when you can plug in. We have to be over communicate. My internet connection's not good either. But yeah, just over communicating. And I think that's what it sounds like you're doing very well with Grant too. You guys just communicating and respecting one another, which is awesome. What are some of the,
We're working.
Yeah, right? It's always a work in progress. And like they say, you're never going to have complete balance. It's just finding the balance in the moments. What are some of the invites in the way that you share this with people?
Oh boy, that's a good question. Man, because when I'm in like coach mode, like with my team, I'm like, okay, there's like 3 different things. We're gonna do this right now. Like when I'm talking to my team, like it just comes so quick in the moment.
I totally am. I'm so sorry, but I just know, like, yeah, Blue, even this morning on the Life Vantage or the team call, like you talked about that very first phase, you guys, if you cannot master the invitation and sharing this with people, you're never going to get to that next phase, that Pro 5, where you're doing it, where you're getting in front of the room. Like, you have to master that invitation. And I can only imagine, Amy, that like your heart comes forward front and center. I would find it hard to believe that you're a scripted person, you know, that you just are a good listener.
That's it. That's really what it comes down to. I'm hoping that, yeah. So when I'm talking to people, it's really a lot of questions, and I don't know, very simple. And then I don't ever give a lot of information until I have a time set and a place where we can sit down and talk. So, are you still there?
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So you just, go ahead.
Like they've all said in all of our trainings, if I had something that could help you, would you take a look at it? Like, that is such a simple one that so naturally comes out for me, like as I'm listening and asking questions, and people are so willing to talk about that kind of stuff. And I think especially in my social work experience, it just is kind of something that I find myself a lot of times in conversation, and then just when it's the right time, I just ask, you know.
Yeah.
So
perfect.
But then, I mean, I do intentionally prospect people too. I mean, I'm not huge on like scouring social media and connecting that way, but I mean, some of my easiest customers are like, I'll message them and say, hey, you've been on my mind. I have something I want to show you. When can we talk? And it was just as simple as that. And we did just a one-on-one Zoom together. I mean, this just happens. Like, sometimes it just can be so simple, and then you have a customer. I mean, it just really meeting people where they're at and kind of having that feeling of just meeting them there and just going with it, but not like just keeping it super simple for people. That's been the biggest thing. I don't know.
That's perfect. nice and simple, and we like simple. That's what it's about, not overdoing it, right? Yeah. Well,
I think at the oh, I was just gonna say at the beginning, I overtalked way too much. Like, it was so, yeah.
absolutely.
So I
I think
learned
we
to
all
keep it
do that. Yeah.
so.
You do. You learn little by little as you go through it to kind of rein it back in.
Yep.
And that's the thing too, if you can over communicate that in the beginning with new people. So while we wrap this up, you guys, does anyone, we can maybe, do you mind if we take maybe one or two questions? Call it good?
Sure.
See if anyone has a question. Okay, put you on the spot a little more. Does
That's
anyone
okay.
have a question for Amy before we wrap it up? One or two of them. Anybody have anything on their mind or their hearts? Don't be scared. No? Okay.
Talk your ears off.
All right. Well, Amy, we'll see. No, it was awesome. It was so, so awesome. And I just love your heart. And I'm so proud of you guys. And congratulations on hitting the rank of Pro 5. And if you've been maintaining it like that, you're going to be at the Pro 5 Summit before you know it. So that's really exciting. You'll be at the next one probably, right?
That's the plan.
Yay! That's awesome. Well, we'll see you and Grant in Indianapolis. Tell him we missed him tonight, but hope the home meeting went really well for you guys.
Well, thank you. Yeah, he was calling me. That's why I had a minor disconnect. So I wonder what that did he forget? Because we were planning on here together. So anyway, it's all good.
You know, that's one more thing I want to ask real quick. Are you guys doing more in-home meetings or more Zoom meetings?
Let's see. Well, I'd say it's about half and half. I mean, we're probably we're trying to do an in-home meeting every week, but it's not quite happening. But as our team is growing, we're really pushing for the new distributor. Like this tonight was a brand new distributor in Jillian's organization, actually. And right away, just pushing like, hey, let's get all of your immediate people together and let's get in a home meeting and let's do this. And then on Saturday, I drove up to Minneapolis and did a new one with a physician. Our team is like racking up the doctors, which is kind of fun.
Wow.
We have a lot of doctors that are joining us. And we did an in-home meeting with a new doctor, and she signed up her another doctor that night. So that was exciting. So we're just kind of rolling with it. So home meetings are huge, guys. Like they are so powerful. And if you can keep them like as tight as you do a Zoom, and then the meeting after the meeting, so people feel free to leave and you can sign people up there. It's great. And I'm doing 2 more in-home meetings Friday night and Saturday night in Minnesota in my parents' organization. And every time we do one there, I mean, the turnout is incredible. So absolutely push those.
Yeah, that sense of community you get with the home meeting, you don't get it on Zoom. That's really good to hear. I love that.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I appreciate it. I know it's been a busy day for you, so thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on tonight, everybody. Everyone have a great night. Love you guys. Bye.